Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so excited to have you here at USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the Corner Bookstore, where we welcome writers, aspiring writers, and authors from all over the world. We have a very special guest with us today who's been on our platform before, and we're very excited welcoming him back. And of course, we have our fabulous co-host, the star of our show, Diane FLOYD. Let's welcome her. She's an international award-winning best-selling author. She's the queen of networking. She's lived all over the world, and she is a person who leads her life by her heart. Welcome, Diane.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN. Thank you for the warm introduction.
So nice to have you, Diane. How are you doing today?
Much better, as you know. And for those out there, I had laryngitis for almost 7 days. So I am happy to have my voice back. I want to go sing the rooftops.
We don't like it when you're speechless, Diane.
I know. My brothers would be so happy.
Somebody's always happy when we can't talk, but the truth is we need to get our voice out there. And you just are continuing to put out fabulous content. Tell us about Charlie and the Tire Swing. What is the meaning behind this fabulous book? What do you want people to take away from reading it?
Yay, Charlie. I am so proud of this book. It's been a work in, not a work in progress, but like the publishers had it for a while. So, you know, it finally made it up to the publishing section. There's other people besides me, right, Dr. JACALYN? Anyway, Charlie and the Tire Swing was inspired by my son because he was the young boy on the tire swing. And when he was little, he'd be like, Mama, come outside. You know, we're going to get on the tire swing, la, 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 la. And I'm like, okay. And then he'd be out there and he'd like twist and he'd turn. He goes, you ready to use your imagination? And we would go off. And so as, you know, fast forward, and I'm in schools and so forth, and I see children and in other countries, and I'm like, we talk about imagination, and they're like, what? You know, because they're so used to being told how to think with their little computers. And so I thought, you know what, we need to write a book all about imagination and have kids just fall in love with their own imagination. So that's how Charlie came, and it'll become a series after this.
Wow, that's new information. I wasn't aware of this series. Good for you.
Yeah, I've been writing in the background. And one other thing I'd like to say, if you don't mind, is it's an intergenerational story. So it has grandpa, great grandpa, grandma. And so it's really a story to for, you know, parents to have fun reading out loud, and kids ask questions like, okay, well, who's my grandpa? And who's my great grandpa? This is all news to me, you know? And as you know, family history is so important to me. And so if I can help spark a moment where families are talking about their loved ones, isn't that nice? So.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful and powerful thing. You know, Diane, I love swings. Whenever I see a tire swing or I walk by a playground, and they always have that sign up. It says, you must be older than 12. I'm like, no, I need to get on a swing. Why can't we swing as adults? It's so liberating. And you can use your imagination when you're on a swing. But as we get older, I guess our swing days are over.
Oh, no. I have been in parks now where they've started adding adult swings. And I was up in Virginia, as you know, and we took our little grandson to the park, and I almost fell over. This was this amazing adult swing with a back and everything. And you could actually hold a child or just enjoy swinging as high as you want, which is exactly what I did because I absolutely love to swing. And my mama took lots of old movies and daddy, I guess, too, because sometimes I'm with mama, so daddy must be behind the camera. And we have pictures of us, swinging together. And I actually love looking at that little girl going, oh, that's me. Oh, such a free spirit. I need to get that back for today.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for sharing, and congratulations on this new book that you've put out. You're just like a machine, one after another. They all win all kinds of awards, so it's wonderful. And we've got a guest today who's also an author. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, he's been here before, which I love, because to me that means we must be doing something right, that people are coming back and continuing to give their message. And his name is Joseph RAVINE. That's what he goes by. He's the founder of Kindness for Success, which, how beautiful is that? You're all about kindness, so am I. And he's a social media influencer, which is kind of like beautiful, to be proactive about kindness for success and then be out there in the public domain, in the public eye, pitching things that are really from the heart, where it's not even a pitch, it's really authentic, that this is what we need to do to encourage each other by leading with kindness. He also is a Guinness Book record holder, which is pretty cool. He's going to hopefully
so cool.
That is really cool. He's the Guinness World Record holder for the longest line of arcade tickets. How about that? He talked to us about, I think he had to do it more than once. So I'll keep that until the end. But he's also an author, and his new book is coming out November the 1st. It's called Watch Out, It's Nolan. So we've actually got the link that people can go ahead and pre-order. Let's welcome to the show, Joseph RAVINE. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, so good to see you again.
It's good to see you guys too. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited as well. I think when we saw you last, Joseph, it was maybe in the June timeframe, and you alluded to this new book. So before we get into the book, yes, there it is. I know you're going to read from the book as well.
Yeah.
You have been on this mission, purposeful life to spread kindness, to teach kindness. And now you are interacting with children and with youth. Tell us why you're so passionate about this, please.
So the book that I wrote, Watch Out, It's Nolan, actually talks about a kid who actually gets bullied named Nolan. And every time he gets bullied by his parents and classmates and teachers, bad things happen to those people who bully him. And so this is the little whiz. I'll show you him. He's the one who makes all the bad things happen to the people who bully Nolan. So basically, he's like a bully killer. And so the whole idea of this book is to teach people that what goes around comes around, and that your actions always have a way of coming back to you. And, treat people the way you want to be treated, as I always am about. And so I really, really want kids to learn this as children, because they're our future generation. Kids these days, from my personal experience, they tend to be bullies, and they tend to be mean to each other, and they do nasty things that aren't acceptable. And so I've always had a passion to try to change that and make a difference in the world in that situation, because, I was bullied a lot as a child myself, and as a direct result, I became a bad kid. It's only a matter of time till I was redeemed, and I became much happier that I am where I am right now. So I believe if I was redeemed to happiness and we can prevent people from becoming bad, I think we should go for such a thing, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for sharing and being so transparent, as you always are here. So a question I have for both of you. Diane is an educator and obviously a mother. I have a great niece. She just turned 1. And she's so innocent and so curious, and she's learning new things all the time. And I look at her, I don't say anything to my nephew and his wife about it, but I think to myself, when do we turn into these evil, hateful older people? I don't understand. Like, how do we go from so curious and wonderful and pleasant? When does that change take place? Because somebody tells us something, right? Somebody tells us we're not good enough, or stop doing something, or you're bad, or go sit in your room, and then things change. That's what my opinion is. What are your thoughts?
I'm glad you're asking me that, because to tell you the truth, I really think that a lot of this change of people turning negative, it comes more from social pressure. You know, where people have that fear of, oh, is he going to like me? Or how can I make this person like me and want me and care about me and things? And when it comes to peer pressure, I definitely can relate. I was also in that situation as well. But I really think that something that children should learn is that no matter how much peer pressure or people trying to make you do things like that, they're never really going to like you. From my experience, if someone likes you, they like you the way you are without having to change and without having to try so hard. So I think that people get all this from peer pressure, if you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I agree completely with you. And I think it's even harder today because of social media. And I just find it tragic when I'm in schools and when the kids, as soon as they get off, school, they're back on their, oh, do you see how many likes I have? And I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
And so I think what you're doing, I really want to come into, and I'm all about kids discovering and liking themselves for who they are, and knowing that they're a beautiful person inside, and ways that we can help bring that out. So you and I are on the same wavelength.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. And I always say all the time how much stuff and how much likes and followers and things like that, even money, how much of that stuff is worth. Life is only about memories and experiences. And, you don't take anything when you leave the world behind. You don't take anything after that. Everything's left behind. So, that's why for me, it's not about how much whatever I have. It's about fulfilling my mission and being remembered that I did something good in the world. And that's what I want to be remembered for.
Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dark Joseph, you mentioned that you had been bullied, and I'm wondering, is Nolan based after you or someone else?
Yes, very much. Because to tell you the truth, the bad things that happened to the people who bully Nolan in the book, that kind of was very much what happened to me. People were bullying me, like teachers were bullying me and students were bullying me. And every time they kept doing it, bad things kept happening to them, to the point where their school that they were teaching in closed down. And, the students were crying all the time and were always unhappy and things like that. And so, I kind of relate a lot to Nolan in a sense that I suffered something similar. But, in one way, I kind of know that, when people are unhappy in their life and they're sad or they go through hard things, that's why, they behave the way they behave. So I kind of feel that pain inside many kids, especially even adults, when they're unhappy. But at the same time, I do think that people do have to learn about understanding that if you're not careful how you behave, you could damage someone and you can traumatize somebody and you can do something that can permanently harm someone. And if you're not careful, you don't want that to come back to you or to your future generation of people or things like that. And so, that's why I encourage people to definitely try to be careful with bullying as much as they can.
Brilliant. And I think that the topic is so important. We discuss a lot, very often here on this platform, about mental health awareness, about normalizing conversations about suicide and depression. And we hear stories on a regular basis in the press about some young person who was bullied and felt they had nowhere to turn, and then they decided their life wasn't worth living anymore. So good for you for putting this book together. Would you like to read something from the book, from maybe the beginning? We'll work our way through.
Yeah, of course. So I actually would like to give a little bit of a background. So Nolan was getting up and he didn't want to go to school. He was, he gets bullied by his classmates and his teachers and parents as well. And so he thought, because he was snowed in, he thought it was a day off from school. So he went back to sleep and decided to, sleep a little longer. And then his mother came and screamed at him. She said, "Get up already. Come on. It's not a snow day. You'll be late for school." And then as she was mad at him, a pile of books and toys fell from the bookcase, as you see right here. As you see over here, there was a mess over here. And it was because this little green whiz I showed you earlier is behind all these bad things happening. And so the whole idea of that book, of this book is to teach people that, you know, there's better ways to handle situations, you know, like look at this one, for example. You know, his mother, her name is Mrs. Kramer. She got mad. She says, "Now you listen here, young man. I don't know what has gotten into you lately, but this is unacceptable. You used to be up early every morning. Now you are always waking up late on school days. School starts at 8:30 and it takes 15 minutes to get there. You must be up by 7:30, no later. You need to follow the rules if you want to get your allowance. Is that clear?" And then it says, Nolan looked down at his feet. He didn't see Bolton preparing his next move from the above head. So Bolton is the guy that's the bully killer that's helping him. And you know what happened? Suddenly, the kitchen clock fell off the wall with a thud. Smash! See? So the clock broke. So it's basically teaching people, you know, there's better ways to handle situations than getting angry and getting mad and things like that in life. And so I've always wanted to, you know, give that, it's not only just to kids, but to adults as well, how much we should try our best to, you know, be easygoing with situations and find out why something is why it is. Like Bolton is waking up, Nolan is waking up late for school, and we don't know why that is the case. If you read the book later on, you'll find out that the reason why he's doing that is because he's unhappy with going to school and he feels hurt inside and he's being mistreated, and that's not stopping, which is why explains why he's late. And so that's when at the end they decide to understand him, and they stop being mean and they stop bullying him. And then all those bad things, this little green whiz, Bolton, stops all those bad things happening to them. And so it's basically also another lesson to be taught that when you don't know somebody's background story, it's easy to judge. But we should try our best because, you know, in authors, especially people who write for the press or write, it is always important to always get the background story of why something happened and why something is what it is before we jump to conclusions and assume the worst. And so I hope to teach people that as well.
Yeah, that
you're very passionate. Yeah, you're very passionate. I think one of the things I love about what you've read so far is that it opens conversations. So when you're in the classroom, when you're an invited speaker, you know, you can read what happened and then go back and go, okay, kiddos, what do you think should have happened? And the other thought I had, and then I'll turn it over to Dr. JACALYN, is Dr. JACALYN does these wonderful listening for us to be better listeners. And your books work so well, Dr. JACALYN, right? Because you're interested in having adults pay attention, and it's about listening and understanding. And so you might be interested in knowing about her listening course, and she didn't pay me to tell you that.
Of course. No, Dr. JACALYN, you always provide help to people, and you're a big helper, and you know everyone.
Wow. Well, thank you both. I think, Dr. Joseph, one thing that stands out, tagging along to what Diane said, is we're so quick to judge other people because we see the behavior that they demonstrate, but we don't understand the psychology behind it. And so we evaluate what we see someone did instead of taking a step back and being that open, safe space for someone to share. And saying, Nolan, you overslept today. What's going on? Anything that you want to talk to me about? I'm here for you because I want you to know you're safe and you can tell me whatever it is and I'll be here. So instead, we just judge and go, hey, you overslept, you're this. We start labeling names, and then the person just retreats.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that we should learn in our life too, because, you know, you don't want to make the situation worse by getting mad and getting angry. Like, you know, even for me, you know, when I was bullied as a child, you know, I can understand kids do stupid things, of course, because, you know, they're kids, they don't know better. But to be bullied by a teacher who has a professional job and should know better other than to do the same thing, which they did, that to me is completely unacceptable. That can really damage someone because, you know, you think, okay, a kid is a kid, but you're an adult and you're being paid. Why are you supporting the bullies? Why are you supporting the kids who are bullying me? If you see me get bullied, you should talk and say, what's wrong? Tell me how we can change it instead of picking on me worse and making the situation worse. luckily I'm a strong person. I'm thick-skinned, so I recovered from all these things. But God forbid, if it was someone else, who knows what could have happened.
Absolutely.
True.
I remember when I was trying to decide about changing my major and going into the classroom, I was very lucky. My high school principal worked it out that I could come sub. And I remember I was subbing for about a week in a classroom. It was going to be a full month. And it was like the whole class was against this one kid. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And apparently it was allowed to go on. So I sent the child outside and I said to him very quickly, "You're not in trouble. I don't want you to hear what all I'm going to say to the rest of the class." And I laid into them and they pushed me. And I told the principal what I was up to. And every single one got detention hall.
Oh,
you're not supposed to do that, but
yeah.
But we had a complete turnaround. His grades turned around. The kids learned about each other, and they were like, "Please don't leave us." I'm like, "I'm sorry, your teacher is coming back." But I was exhausted. But you were absolutely right. It's amazing what damage can happen. But if they're lucky enough to get another teacher for them to discover the beauty in themselves, then maybe you saved them.
Absolutely. And that's the whole idea of teaching about kindness and teaching about understanding and being there to listen to a story and to find out, how can I be the one changing the life? How can I be the one making a difference? Everything I do is really all for the sake of really trying to make a difference in the world and trying to help people. Because that's part of why you get featured in the press in the first place, and you become known, and you're to be a hero for the world. A lot of celebrities sadly miss that class, but there are some who don't. I mean, there are some that are great heroes, in my opinion. And so
you're right.
When you receive,
I agree.
Right.
Dark Joseph, a question I have for you is, as someone who is an advocate for the people and somebody who is about kindness, do you ever have people put you down about that? And I'll give an example, like, "Hey, why don't you go make more money? You could take the time that you're doing this and you could go, do you ever have that, or people questioning what you're doing? How do you respond?
Want to know what? I usually do my best to ignore it as much as I can. Like one time, when I wrote this book and I showed some high school students, they're like, "Are you a pedophile for writing about children? Oh my God, you must be inappropriate." I'm like, has there ever been in the media any sites of me being naked with a child? How could I be a predator? Like, seriously, And sometimes some of these kids don't even know the definition of some of these terms. They assume, because you love children, you're dangerous or you're unsafe or things like that. But I don't really let it get to me. I'm not the kind of person to really care what people think about me, because if I love myself and I'm not breaking the law or hurting anyone, what do I care what they think about me? I'm not going to get in trouble just because of their thoughts or their opinions or things like that. And there's no concrete evidence to prove that I'm an evil person or that I committed crime. So why on earth would I have to care what they have to say? Let them talk bad and do nasty things all night long. I'm not breaking the law or hurting anyone. And I love myself and I love what I do. So that's my thick skin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a good message there about believing in ourselves and not needing that external recognition. So I'd love to have you read some more from your book.
Yeah, of course. So I don't know if it ever dawned on you guys, but was there ever a time where you came across one popular person that was always picking on, somebody that everybody hated, in a sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so this is Edie. She's the one making fun of Nolan, along with all the other kids. She's the popular girl. She's rich. She's an actress, and everybody loves her. And despite that, she also gets a snowball thrown into her face on the side because of her nasty ways of how she acts. And so, I think that it came across lots of people, that people wonder, why are people so popular and rich and yet they're nasty and mean and not nice? I really think that when it does come to popularity, a lot of the times these people, it's because they offer something in exchange to get to that position. Like, for example, you know, she can give people huge parties or, you know, offer things in exchange to make herself come off as a nice person. And then she leaves one person out, which would explain why, you know, that person would be nasty towards that person. But I really think that, you know, these people who are popular in school, it's because they've made sacrifices to get to that stage. The problem is that sometimes people use popularity for the wrong reasons. You know, they use it to look good as opposed to, you know, trying to make a difference. And if you really are, you know, if you use popularity, you should honor that and use it in a good way. Because I'm a believer that, you know how they say you snooze, you lose? I believe if you abuse, you lose also. Because that way, you know, you say, if you damage the things you have in your life, you'll lose everything. So that's why you should appreciate and honor and be positive with what you have in your life. And of course, kindness, from my experience with popularity together, you know, it's a way to build better, because that way people see you as a better person. And because negativity, usually people would not think of you very, very positively. They'd hate you behind your back. So, you know.
Good points. Absolutely good points.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the link up here for people who are watching. You can pre-order. Go over to Amazon right now to pre-order this book. Watch out, it's Nolan. So I'd love to have you chat a little bit for our friends who haven't seen one of our interviews before. What is this kindness project, this platform that you have built about kindness for success? Can you tell us more?
Absolutely. So recently with Kindness for Success, we had items, we designed items, mostly apparel and accessories that have creative words and words about encouraging people and positive motivation and things like that. We also now just recently launched our customer favorites section, where we start to sell other items that other people might be interested in. So we want to help other businesses and other people who have something that they're most passionate about to get the word out. We also just recently started writing a news section. So we write for the press as well. And here we want to talk about positive news and good things and ways of helping people and things that can actually make a difference in the press. Because you know how news is usually always so negative, talking about that this person killed this person, or that person harmed this person, or this teacher committed crime, or, you know, there's too much of that. And I think the time has come to put more positive news and things that people can say, oh, wow, this is great. You know, for what I mean, because when you put negative news, you kind of instill more fear in people. And more positive news, I feel like it builds more trust and faith in humanity. And I want more positive news in the world. And so I put a news section with Kindness for Success. So if we have submissions or anything that people might be interested in, articles or anything like that, we could have a review and we'll see if we're interested in publishing it.
Dr. Joseph, how do people actually write to you to get considered for publication?
So they basically submit an article to our team, which is sales at kindnessforsuccess.djr.com. We all review the article together. If we feel it's an appropriate fit for our site, then we say, this is great content. Let's share it with the rest of the world. The same way with our items too. You know, if they want us to sell a specific item or something for them as well, or design something custom, we also do create your own logo, and we can sell that as well. You know, we see if it's a suit for our site, and we publish it and publicize it. So it's basically, you know, free publicity and I guess you can say advertising for anybody who's passionate about something. But like just mentioned, you know, it's only if our team is interested. So it is exclusive, you know. Mm-hmm. But anything for the sake of making positive changes. You know, that's what I'm most passionate about.
Absolutely. I can feel that passion coming through. And I'm just wondering, with as passionate as you are about teaching the youth, younger people, children about consequences for behavior, have you thought, and maybe you're already doing this, of taking the Kindness for Success and then the main takeaways from the book and putting some kind of project together specifically for schools?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. You know, I think that it would be a great idea for people to form like a kindness group, and, you know, to find kids who are struggling with making friends and struggling with people to talk to and things like that. And they should form a group together and help those people who are struggling in school, who are having a hard time. Because if they can make a difference, you know, that could make a difference in that person's life. And so I think that schools should definitely start forming groups to fight against bullying and to promote kindness together, you know? Or you can call it kindness groups.
Yeah, absolutely. Diane, having worked as an educator for years, what are your thoughts about a project like this?
I think it'd be great, but I also think there's ways to go in and have the kindness group work with existing groups so that each group might have some bullies in it. But if the groups end up doing something, an act of kindness, then it's going to be even stronger. And
Absolutely.
that's something that I used to do in schools all the time. So
Great.
yeah, whether it was building, you know, a butterfly garden because that's helping the environment,
Yes.
to going and so one of the things we did just real quick was we put together several Thanksgiving meals, and the groups along with the teachers delivered these meals. And so I think there's all kinds of ways you can get at it, but that's just my simple suggestion of what I've done.
Of course. Great. And also, speaking of, you know, celebrities as well, you know how sometimes they donate money to, let's say, to sick kids,
Yes.
or, for example, you know, people who donate meals to the needy Feeding America charities or things like that. There's always celebrities who are always helping people who need them desperately. And that's also a form of kindness. It's not just necessarily saying, hey, be nice. It's also sacrificing what you were given for the sake of making differences in people's lives. And so that makes me happy to know that there's celebrities who work towards that, because that's what I'm most passionate about.
Right.
When you can make a difference in someone's life, make a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. Acts of kindness are wonderful. And just going back to looking at the groups that are already existing, you know, a lot of kids have talents, raw talents that people don't know about it. And all of a sudden you say, hey, let's put something together and the teachers for it. And we're going to go to a children's hospital and we're going to put on plays or puppet shows or whatever. And all of a sudden there's like, what? This guy plays the guitar and he was too shy to tell. So many things can come out positive from something like that. And yay for you, Dark Joseph.
Thank you. I always say you can make one small thing into a big thing if you really work at it. If you're passionate and you love what you do, you know, you can really, really be successful. And that's why I'm a believer in, you know, kindness. I'm a believer in working hard. You know, a lot of, you know, not putting anybody on the spot, but a lot of, you know, rich people wonder how they got to where they got to. It's all from kindness. It's all from understanding. It's all from not holding grudges, not being evil. People think that rich people are evil. Some of them are the nicest people in the world because they believe in helping and being good and being a helper, of a community helper. Like, for example, Bolton from my book. You know, and that's kind of also been my mission in life, to be a community helper and be there for people who need the help, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely. So your book is going to be available for pre-order November the 1st. Your Kindness for Success platform continues to be thriving and you've expanded it. Tell us about this world record holder. Tell us, where does this fit in with the arcade tickets?
So the Guinness World Record holder that I have, I was, during my time before I was in the public eye, I used to be very depressed because of, you know, going through bullying and feeling like not cared about. So I used to go to the arcades and win a lot of tickets. And so as I was at the arcade, I just started playing games and suddenly it just came to me how to win very well. And, you know, as time went on, I developed on my skills and strategies of how to win. And then I just started winning like crazy beyond many people. And so I thought, because I was getting millions and millions of tickets from my local arcade where I live, I thought maybe I can do something that will put me in the spotlight for this. And so when I contacted Guinness in regards to a Guinness World Record holder, they told me that having a lot of tickets isn't going to cut it, But if you do something creative, like if you make a really big line, that we can definitely attempt. And so I went for it. At the time the arcade was already getting rid of the paper tickets, so they sponsored me the tickets. And so we went for it. The first time we failed because we did it outside and it was windy, but then we went into a sports arena. The second time we did it, we flew through it and we submitted it, hoped for the best, and we got the record.
That's amazing.
That is definitely amazing. Will there be more records that you're going for, maybe in this or other categories?
I don't think so. I don't think I have the patience for that anymore. I'd much rather focus more on making a difference in the world. One thing I actually want to say as well is that you can't learn to succeed if you don't fail in your life. And so, I feel very encouraged to do better and to see where I am and to, keep going different directions to see what works and to throw away what doesn't work. And that's what I do as a person. So
very good point. Very good point. And even I told my kids that are all young adults, I said, you had to go through some of this hard time because it helped make you the person you are today. And you have such compassion and understanding because you've been there. And I think that's what you're saying too, is because
100%.
Failure can lead to success.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dark Joseph, we're in the last 4 minutes of our interview. What else do you want to tell us about the book? What do you want to show us?
Yeah, of course. So Watch Out, It's Nolan is also talks about the illustration and about the author. So it talks about, about my kindness movement and about what I'm known for doing, which is, positive motivation and helping people. And so the idea of my book is also, it's basically to treat people the way you want to be treated, as mentioned before, and to know that how our actions have a way of coming back to us. It also says that the book also shows that treating others with kindness can really make a difference and have a magical impact. Because, you think for one moment somebody's very sad and unhappy because of the things they go through in their life. So you sit down there and try to get rid of the negativity in their life and see how you can make a difference by saying maybe that you can do something more like this, or maybe you can compromise with other people in a sense. And I always say, it's more about compromise. Life is always about compromises. You do for me, I do for you. And that's how it works well. For example, parents and children, compromise with your child. I'll do this for you if you do this for me. Children at school with friends. I'll do this for you if you do this for me, and even adults. I do for you, you do for me. And I think compromises is basically what it's mostly about. If we can learn to compromise, I think we'll sustain better friendships, relationships, as well as, work ethics and things like that. And that's how we work as a team to make differences. And so I definitely encourage, even though it's not really taught in the book about compromises, but taught from, my own personal knowledge of how I teach the world about kindness, to definitely work on compromise.
Wow, there it is. What a great way to sum up what you're doing.
Yes.
I think that's
Thank you so much.
really fabulous.
Thank
So
you.
the book's available for pre-order November the 1st. As we mentioned, it's Amazon, Barnes & Noble, etc. What's next? Do you have a series coming? Are you going to be a prolific author from here out?
Yeah, maybe I might think about writing another book, depending how well Watch Out, It's Nolan would do, like in the future. I'm thinking about, trying to bring it out more to the public and see what passes me by and things like that. And I would definitely love to write more books and maybe write for the press as well, and positive news, so that we can actually, show people and we can actually make a difference. I don't think it's just about having a business, that it's about having a whole package. And so I'm all about introducing all kinds of new things to hopefully further making a difference in the world.
Beautiful.
Well, you're doing great work,
Thank you.
heart-centric work. It's fabulous. And you're joining us from Canada. Is that correct?
That's correct. Toronto.
Yeah. Toronto, Canada. So I'm going to spotlight you again. I'm going to put up a couple of your banners. What's the best way for people to reach out to you, and who would you like to contact you?
So anybody is welcome to contact. If they have any questions, you can reach me at sales@kindnessforsuccess by DJR. That's my team. My team can see whatever it is they write about, and they'll decide if they're interested or I'm interested in reaching out. And they can also contact my publicist, who, as you know, is Tracy, lamorepr@gmail.com. And yeah, hopefully we can definitely all work together and make positive changes. I'm open to everybody, so.
There you
Fantastic. And also we have the banner for your book. Watch out, it's Nolan. Will be available November the 1st, 2022, available for pre-order at Amazon. There's the link right there.
Awesome.
So yes, it's fabulous. Dark Joseph Ravine, thank you for coming and sharing this information with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you again. We wish you continued success.
Thank you. Same.
Thank you. Bye. Wow, that was so great just to see how Dark Joseph Ravine is expanding his kindness for success and just teaching all of us. There's something for all of us to learn in children's books, as you know, Diane.
Absolutely. And I just want to commend him for the name. The book title is fabulous. Watch out, Nolan. It's Nolan. I mean, you can see so many things just in that title, and it's Dr. JACALYN, as you alluded to, and make a great series for things to come. But I mean, my brain's already seeing Nolan coming animated and everything. So, but his message is so phenomenal. And he was so creative, because a lot of us have written about, not bullying and being kind, as you know, I have. But I love the fact that he's showing consequences. And I remember when I was a young teacher, I did private school because when I tried public school, I'm such a hugger, and you could get in trouble. It turned out in public schools, in this particular place anyway. And I thought, okay, that's not for me. But also the fact that you couldn't teach consequences. And I was like, well, that's never going to work for me, because I want kids to learn, if you make this decision, this could happen. It could be a positive one. If you may go this way, it could be this decision. But in some school districts, you weren't allowed to do that because you could get sued. So I think what he's doing with this book is phenomenal. I think parents are going to appreciate it.
I definitely agree. And you know what's interesting, Diane, as adults, and we've seen this happen, whether it's me, you, the person next door, there's times in our life when things are not going well. And yet we blame everyone. We ask God, why is this happening to me? The universe, when's it going to stop? But we don't think about the choices we made up until that point. They could have been years ago, but we walked down a path that has consequences. And then we need to be able to tie the consequences back to our own behavior. And I love the idea that Dark Joseph has included that wizard that is there, literally right there at that moment. It's not like you have to wait years later to be reminded, hey, that was something you did. You really made someone feel horrible. You insulted someone. You were just controlling. It's right then in the moment, something happens. But yet even today, something can happen and we still don't put two and two together. We just get mad at the universe, that as though something else is controlling our
We had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just standing there. No, you weren't. You took a path that led you to where you are.
That's right. And again, I'm going to go back to, and I hope it was okay that I mentioned your listening, Dr. JACALYN, skills that you teach, because I do think it complements what Dr. Joseph is doing. Because if we learn to listen, then we might understand why we're in the situation that we're in right now. What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you. But you know what, Diane, that's another thing for another day, which is if you were to survey people, and I've done it, and ask people, how would your family and friends rate your listening skills? And how would you rate your listening skills on a scale of 1 to 10? Most people give themselves pretty high marks. And yet most of the relationships are completely dysfunctional. And what's the reason? It's the other person.
Yes, the other person.
It's always somebody else. No, it's not. It's us. It starts with us. We have to be accountable and responsible.
Absolutely. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard. It's hard in my own life. Even listening to Dark Joseph speak, and he was reading the section about the mother, you're always late, right? I was like, because I can remember saying to the kids, you slept in, we need to go. And I'm like going, maybe I shouldn't have done it that way.
But guess what? You've realized it. You can see it now.
Yeah.
Maybe you couldn't have seen it then, but you
Yeah.
do see it now.
Because I think, to give people who are listening, not a pass, but, seriously, when you're in the moment and that traffic's building up and you need to be in that classroom by 7:30 in the morning, sometimes you're just like, okay, we're on schedule. We need to go. Let's get with it, and instead of being that sweet person like, oh, did you see the flour I put on the table today to make you smell so nice in here when you eat your oatmeal? And there was no time for that, right? So, yeah, being in the moment sometimes is tough. And we all, can make mistakes and have to say we're sorry, but that's, part of being human in life, right, Dr. Jacalyn?
It is. It definitely is. And as we close out the show, I just want to leave our audience with this, that Dr. Joseph Ravine is here today. He's been here before. He's doing amazing things in this world that have concrete value and that each and every one of us can benefit from. So please, November the 1st, mark it on your calendar to go over and pre-order his book. And then also do reach out to him if you have some good news, if you have a good story that you feel is going to inspire other people, reach out to his team. I've got the link there. And I think what it comes down to is we don't always make the right decisions in the moment, but as adults and with the tools that this book and the Kindness for Success work that Dr. Joseph Ravine is doing, Diane, with the work that you're doing, we can have an awareness that we might not have had before. And I feel like awareness is the first key to acting and implementing change that is effective and productive. And that's all I have to say.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. Awareness is the word today.
Awareness is the key word. All right, Diane, I'm going to spotlight you as we close out. How can people reach out to you and purchase your books?
Sure. So you may go to my website, DianneFloydBOEHM. I'm going to spell it for those listening. DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. And you can learn all about me and sign up for my newsletter. And my books are in Barnes & Noble and Amazon, and I'm sure. And you can order it in a small, if you live in an area where they have those lovely, beautiful small bookstores, you can order it right there too. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you so much, Diane. And I'll just leave our audience with this. We are getting our 2023 programming solidified starting for January. Diane, I'm thrilled that you are coming back with us.
We
do have some openings for people who are interested in co-hosting their own show, hosting their own show. We just had somebody sign up for a whole new concept that he came up with, hosting his own program, which I love. Do reach out to me. You can find me at drjacalyn at usaglobaltv.com. Let me know what your concept is. What is it you're thinking that you want to do? What we stand for here on this platform is education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. We don't talk politics. We don't want to talk about anything that is nasty, negative, gossip. Not into it. So we're a good news platform, and that's what we stand for. So if you're interested in joining us, please do reach out. Thanks, everyone. Our next show is coming up shortly. And thank you again, Dr. Joseph Ravine, for being with us. Thank you, Diane Floyd-BOEHM. Thank you, each and everybody. Bye for now.